What's going on, everybody? It's your boy JP Joe Paul back with another playoff update. Hope everybody's having a great day, an amazing week, a wonderful afternoon. I messed up the intro, but we won't go ahead and roll into it anyway. We are back, another playoff update. Today we're going to be discussing the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Lakers series that wrapped up just last night. Jamal Murray hits another game winner down the stretch to send the Lakers home. And listen, man, before I even get into a deep dive about, everything that happened with the Lakers and, the Darvin Ham situation and all that, can I just say this team actually performed extremely, extremely close over these 5 games. Like, granted, they did lose the series in 5 games. This was actually a real, even though there were parts of the series where it didn't necessarily feel like it was like a super competitive matchup, game in, game out, possession in, possession out, the Lakers competed 100%. And this game was no different. So let's go and let's get into it. Lakers, they go into Denver last night for game 5 of the series. And going into the game, it was kind of like I actually had this kind of feeling where I felt like potentially the Nuggets had really gotten themselves in trouble and they were going to be regretting playing with their food in game 4, because towards the end of game 4, Jamal Murray ends up holding his calf. After the game, they're talking about how he's questionable for game 5, and then as you're watching game 5, you find out there was Michael Malone was actually very adamant that he did not want Jamal Murray to play in this game. And had Jamal Murray not played in this game, I think that we would have been in a really interesting situation where the Lakers potentially, they go into this game, they win game 5, we're back to a 3-2 series, and now Denver has to go back to Los Angeles to close out that series, because you don't want a game 7. You don't want to go up 3-0 and then have to come back home for a game 7. At that point, it's just a full pendulum swing when it comes to the momentum. You just don't want the series to drag out any longer than it was. Lakers, they did came out, they protected home court in game 4. They played they played a very solid game play. Anthony Davis was a complete monster. I believe he was 20-20. LeBron dropped 30 and some change. It was a game where you felt like if the Lakers were ever going to win any game in the series, of course it had to be that game because they were down 3-0. But that was a game where it was what, we're not going to get any of the Denver Nuggets black magic bullshit going on. We're just going to outplay them in this game. Jamal Murray never really got an explosion. Jokic had a good game, but nobody else really burst onto the scene to really make it a real contest down the stretch. And so here we are back in game 5. So going into that game, Jamal Murray, man, he shows me time and time again that he is also one of the Kobe clones that we have in the league. And now you're probably asking yourself, Joe, what the hell is a Kobe clone? Let me explain. A Kobe clone is somebody who plays alongside another dominant player, but also so in a situation where how in LA, Shaq was most definitely the 1A, Kobe was he was either 2 or he was 1B, whatever you want to describe it. But there were various times where throughout the playoffs, throughout the season, where you saw hey, this guy, this Kobe guy, the guy in the Kobe role, he is actually might be the coldest player on the team, because of the aspect that, yes, we have the big dominant freak in the paint that we have in Nikola Jokic. He's unguardable. He has all the post moves. He can hit mid-range shots, threes, all that good stuff. But down the stretch of games, just him being that big and having to really operate in that space makes him limited. But when you have a player like Jamal Murray who has that Kobe mentality where it's yo, listen, I have no problem getting these shots up, and I have no problem with the team, living or dying based off my actions. Jamal Murray, man, he is one of them ones. A couple years ago in the bubble, you saw him have the duel with Donovan Mitchell, and you're hey, potentially there's something there. Last year, he has the amazing run, I believe in the conference finals last year, he averaged over 30 points, in the finals, he has a 30-point triple-double along with Jokic. You definitely see the pieces there for Jamal Murray, but I feel in this series in particular, this is really where you got to see just what his impact is on this Nuggets team. It goes stated that basically if Jamal Murray is healthy, the Nuggets are the championship team. Without Jamal Murray, they're not a championship team. We saw them without Jamal Murray. They lost to the Warriors, and they lost to the Warriors in the first round a couple years ago. It's just just not having that piece. But in this series, man, what I really just saw was that Murray is the closer. The reason why they struggled down the stretch of those the previous seasons was because they didn't have their closer. And when you have a guy like him who's able to attack on anywhere of the court, has no problem shooting over anybody, he can contour his body all types of different ways. I'm not even going to say sneaky athletic, he's very athletic in terms of, like, he can do the 360 layup, that he can fucking dunk on LeBron James. Like, he is just, like, overall just like a secret weapon that, like, even if going into the series you are preparing to game plan for him, he's still just like off the charts in terms of just like what his ability is on the court. And like, when you put him in that flow with Jokic, with Jamal, with Michael Porter Jr., with Aaron Gordon, you just end up with a very, very deadly dominant player that you don't want to have to worry about. But he's going to be somebody we're going to have to worry about for as long as this Nuggets dynasty is rolling along. So, Jamal Murray starts off the game. He's fucking coming out, shots, guns blazing. I believe he shoots like the first 4 shots in the first couple of minutes of the game. And you know what I'm saying? You really could just tell that, like, he is on the mission that this is going to be a closeout game. You know what I'm saying? AD comes out. He's aggressive, not as aggressive as he has been in previous games, but he comes through and he gives you, I believe, a 17 and 15 on the game. He has the back injury that we'll talk about in just 1 second. But all right, so let me rephrase this because I kind of got myself jumbling around here. So, Los Angeles Lakers in this game, they played, I'm going to say, as close to perfect as they can play, especially going back to how they played in game 2. Like, when it comes to how they were able to, you know what I'm saying, they got help in all the places they need to get help from. You know what I'm saying? Rui, D'Lo, and Reeves. Those are the 3 players that people were saying that they have to outduel the other big 3 for the Nuggets, or you know what I'm saying, the auxiliary 3 for the Nuggets in order for them to have any chance. And they did just that. You know what I'm saying? So Rui, D'Lo, and Austin Reeves, right? They came through. They gave you 48 points, 11 assists, and 9 rebounds combined. They shot 44% for the game, and they made 5 threes. That's production that if you're a Lakers fan, you'll take. You know what I'm saying? You would have taken that at various other points throughout this series, and that could have very well have swung a game or two in the previous games of the series. So you come out, you get the 48, 11, and 9 from those 3. In comparison, for KCP, for MPJ, and Aaron Gordon, you get 38 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists. They shoot 45% from the floor, and they end up making 7 threes. You know what I'm saying? So, and on that standpoint, you get the production you're looking for. LeBron comes out, it is LeBron James. He comes out, he gives you a 30, 11, and 9. 11 of 21 from the field goal, his regular efficiency, 3 of 7 from the three-point line. An excellent game for LeBron James. And I think that in this game, what the team really, really relied on, and you know what I'm saying, this is going to tie back to what I was talking about before, is that they needed that Anthony Davis aggression that he had all throughout the series. Throughout the series, Anthony Davis would catch the ball in the mid-post, and he would just shoot that mid-range shot over Jokic anytime it was available to him. If he had Aaron Gordon on him, he would try to get into the paint and do a little floater. You know what I'm saying? Same thing for LeBron. When they got in that misadvantage, that mismatch where he had Jamal Murray on him, he had no problem attacking the paint. You know what I'm saying? Them having that kind of constant rim pressure was something that if they had that in this particular game, that would have swung the pendulum potentially in the other direction, because down the stretch of that game, you see them not having Anthony Davis because Anthony Davis sustains the injury. You know what I'm saying? Like, as anybody who's been a fan of Anthony Davis over the past couple of years, or just been over the course of his career, you know that at any point in any given game, you can have the injury with Anthony Davis. The injury that puts him out for, you know what I'm saying, the rest of the game, puts him out for the next couple of games. You know what I'm saying? Just in the moment where you're like, hey, we need to have our best guys going at this pace. Anthony Davis's body fails him time and time again, and it didn't stop this time. You know what I'm saying? He goes and he gets kind of like, I'm not even sure that, like, in the video it doesn't look that bad. It looks like he kind of just bumped, MPJ kind of bumps him a little bit in the back, but then you just see kind of AD's whole body crumble. At that point, you're just like, oh no, like, that's not what you want right now if you're a Lakers fan. Like, you're getting the production from the other guys. LeBron is LeBron. AD, we need you just to come in and give us your regular, you know what I'm saying? Not even like the crazy efficiency, the 90% shooting that he was doing at various points throughout the series. If he was able to come through and give them just a 27-point game, a 25-point game with his regular ability to play defense, that could have very well have also swung the pendulum for the game. But they do have the injury happen to Anthony Davis, and from that point on, you kind of just feel like it's going to be a LeBron James, LeBron James is going to take us home. And in that fourth quarter, like, I think that when it comes to my favorite kind of basketball game to watch, like there's various different ways that you like to watch basketball. You could like a slow drag 'em out game. You could like a high pace. You know what I'm saying? People score 150 points a game. I think that the game that we had last night for with the Lakers and the Nuggets was my favorite kind of basketball because you had stops in there a little bit in between, but in that fourth quarter, it was basically just kind of like you really got to see why they call basketball a game of possessions because it was like you make a bucket here, I'm gonna make a bucket here. You miss a shot here, we're gonna get a stop here. You're gonna make a bucket here, we're gonna hit a three over here to take the lead, and it was just that back and forth. And it got to a point where I ain't gonna lie, if you're just a fan of the game, if you're somebody who just appreciates, you know what I'm saying, the sport of basketball, you were probably just like, hey, at one point in the fourth quarter, you stood up in your chair and you were like, you know what, bro? I really don't even care who wins. Like, I'm just here for, like, this game action right here. This right here is why I tune into the games. And, you know what I'm saying, we have Jamal Murray. He's taking Austin Reeves to the basket one-on-one. You know what I'm saying, proving why he's just that fourth quarter superstar. LeBron James is out here willing his team, hitting dagger threes. Even after he sprained his ankle, he's hitting damn near logo threes just to keep them in the game. Jokic is out here being Jokic. Michael Porter Jr. over the course of the entire series has been on an absolute heater. I said it in the last video. Amid the family tragedy that's been going on with this man's name, among the controversy that is his podcast, and all the obstacles and stuff that could potentially bring in the you know what I'm saying, in his life, he remains focused, and is that what I'm going to do at the highest possible level is shoot the basketball. All right, for the series, MPJ was 23 points per game. He made 4 threes per game, and he averaged 8.4 rebounds per game. When you think about what you want Michael Porter Jr. to do, you want him to be able to knock down jump shots, you want him to be able to rebound, you want him to be able to defend. And he did just that in this series. Last year, like I was saying before, Jamal Murray came through and he averaged, you know what I'm saying, I think it was like close to 35 points per game or 32 points per game playing against the Lakers last year in the conference finals. And I guess coming into this finals, you had to think, the mindset has to be, we just cannot let Jamal go off like that again. Jamal's going to do what Jamal does. I'm not saying that we're going to be able to shut him down by any means, but we cannot have him have a career best playoff series, right? So that had to be their mindset coming into this series. And then in the process of that happening, we get the Michael Porter Jr. series. Because if you ask me, this was the best series Michael Porter Jr. has ever played. In terms of, you know what I'm saying, the heater has been off the 3-point line. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't need to be stated. But the way how he's been rotating and blocking shots and playing defense great over the course of the series. His rebounding has been amazing. I believe he had a couple of games where he had double digits or close to double digit rebounds. Like, for a guy who, you know what I'm saying, you knew that he had the physical tools for it all. You know what I'm saying? You knew that he had the long arms, the high release point, all that good stuff. He was just like, hey, if he ever pieces it together, be careful about what the Nuggets can be. He put it together, and now we have to. That's a problem for the rest of the league. You know what I'm saying? That was already. It sucks that it happened. You know what I'm saying? For the Lakers, they're already trying to make the comeback and everything. They're already undermanned, and you know what I'm saying, a little bit of a talent deficit when it comes to when they face the Nuggets. You don't really account for the MPJ career series. And like I said, that's going to be a problem for the rest of the playoffs. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, he's able to ride this streak and, you know what I'm saying, just keep being this consistent player, because if Michael Porter Jr. becomes what he was projected to be out of high school on this Nuggets team, it's going to take close to like a KD Warriors to defeat the Nuggets at that point. Because at that point, you have the offensive firepower and the machinery and all that stuff that is the, you know what I'm saying, that was the Golden State Warriors offense, how they just played within themselves and they played their system and all that good stuff. And then you're gonna have just this drastic talent advantage on basically for every position for them, because you know what I'm saying, you got Jamal, you got Yoke. We just talked about Michael Porter Jr. Aaron Gordon in that role, he's like just like a plus 10 attribute boost. Like the things that he does well gets highlighted so much in that role. You know what I'm saying? And same thing with KCP. The things that he's good at gets highlighted so much in that role that is a reason why they are the best 5-man lineup in all of basketball. All right, so let's go and let's talk about the Lakers, man, for them going forward. So, you know what I'm saying, it hasn't even been 24 hours left, and we're already seeing crazy, you know what I'm saying, was the word I'm looking for here. Crazy, I guess, consequences for them losing the series, right? So apparently Darvin Ham, he had an interview was released where Darvin Ham was basically saying, what do you want me to do when one of my starters is playing like shit for 10 games in a row? Like, people kind of get dumb when it comes to my job. And I, for nothing, I agree with you on that front, Darvin Ham. I think that people get really dumb when it comes to, hey, I am the coach of a LeBron James team. Like, at that point, I think that you automatically, you realize that everything that negative surrounding the team is going to fall back on you. Not on LeBron, not on any of the other players, not on any of the other superstars. It's going to fall solely on you. At various points throughout the series with the Nuggets, whenever anything remotely negative happened with the Lakers, it was not, hey, that player needs to be better. It was, oh my God, look at Darvin Ham. Look at Darvin Ham just sitting there holding his pockets. Look at Darvin Ham just sitting there watching the game. And at some point, I'm just like, do they give coaches this much flack in any other point? Like, at any other team in the NBA, do they give coach this much flack for everything that happens on the floor? There's even that guy on TikTok, I think his name is Awful Coaching or something like that, and this man literally breaks down, you know what I'm saying, the negative defensive rotations or negative, I guess, teachings that were taught to this Lakers team, and it's just like, all right, man, I get it, I do. Part of it, 100% is him. He 100% has a very hard time, and I think that, you know what I'm saying, his main issue is that he gets wrapped up watching the game a little bit too much. Like, there were times last night in the third quarter where, you know what I'm saying, the Lakers weren't necessarily, like, they weren't, blowing, like, you know what I'm saying, they weren't losing the lead entirely. Like, they really didn't have the big lead like how they had in various points throughout the series. But there were various times where they were kind of going back and forth, and you can just see, look, like me as a player, as somebody who is sitting here in Poughkeepsie, New York, watching on my television, I can see just how tired all the Lakers players are. Like, you just know, they talk about all the time, that elevation, the altitude, like how it makes it hard for you to breathe. And you know what I'm saying? When you look at Anthony Davis and you see LeBron James and they're breathing all hard, I'm looking at this from my TV. I'm like, they probably could use a timeout, bro. They probably could use a timeout. You know what I'm saying? What do I know? I'm just a nigga. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think Darvin Ham sometimes he forgets that he is actually a coach of the team. I think he forgets that stamina is activated in this game. Like, sometimes you might have to sub out a player. But at the same time, I also can understand that it's an elimination game. Like, you're gonna have to fight through being tired. Like, I understand, LeBron, your chest is fucking, your heart is beating through your chest right now in this moment, bro. But we literally cannot afford to have Jackson Hayes come in this ball game and turn the ball over. So you need to just kind of fight through that, and we'll get you a break at the next dead ball player. Like that, I get that 100% that happens. You know what I'm saying? I get that 100%. But I just think that he needs to do a better job at the timeouts. I don't really see, like, I think that he does a pretty decent job after timeout plays at drawing up and getting good looks, you know what I'm saying, for the team. Like, I think that Darvin Ham gets a very bad rep for a job that's really not easy to have. Like, being the coach of a LeBron James team is not an easy feat. You know what I'm saying? Like, automatically, like I said before, automatically everybody's also already blaming you for everything. And you also have a guy who is known as a basketball genius, and you know what I'm saying, who's kind of famous for kind of doing things against the coach's wishes. You know what I'm saying? They talked about, you know what I'm saying, I believe it was the shot, the game winner LeBron hit against Chicago. And, you know what I'm saying, I'm not sure if it was David Blatt or Ty Lue. They draw up a play for Kyrie to get the ball, and he's like, fuck that. We're running this play instead. You know what I'm saying? Or I believe it was even earlier this year, a game against the Clippers, the game where they were getting blown out and LeBron had the crazy fourth quarter. He goes into the podcast with JJ, and he was like, yeah, Darvin Ham said to do this, but I said no. And we did that, and we ended up winning. So, you know what I'm saying? It gets very tough where you probably get to a point where you feel like, I can't tell this brother nothing. I can't really, you know what I'm saying? I can't really honestly coach LeBron James because, you know what I'm saying, he's kind of known as the coach. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of known as a one-stop shop, do-it-all for the franchise kind of guy, where he gets credit for everything positive and everything negative falls onto the feet of the head coach or the front office. And I'm not going to say it's not fair because, like I said before, I get it in one respect, but in the other respect, I just think that it's unfair to the person who is actually the coach of the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ask me, like, a lot of the bad habits that the Lakers have, I don't think that Darvin Ham is the reason why they have them. I think that honestly, LeBron is the reason why they have a lot of those issues. Like, the reason why the Lakers don't get back on defense, the reason why the Lakers are constantly out of position when it comes to help defense, when it comes to, you know what I'm saying, like how their offense can kind of just dissolved into nothing at various times. I don't think that's just like, it is 100% part of it is Darvin Ham. But like I said, bro, it's just really hard because LeBron James is the heart and soul, the heartbeat of the team. Like, it just kind of just feels like various times where like the team literally they can't function without LeBron James's input or anything. Like, if he's in the game, that is, if he's in the game, like we saw that plenty of times throughout the year. If the Lakers were playing without LeBron James, they could still go out there and hoop. They could still go out there and, you know what I'm saying, find ways to put points on the board and win games. But when LeBron is out there on the floor, it just seems like the team is so very much like, what's LeBron want us to do? What does LeBron want us to do? Where does LeBron want me to be? How can I help assist LeBron? And at times, you know what I'm saying, that's not going to be a positive thing. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I don't want to get too big into the whole Darvin Ham thing. Like, I get it. I get it. Speaking about the Lakers, LeBron, I believe, is going to be opting out of his player option for this offseason, so he will become a unrestricted free agent for the first time since 2018. So people are potentially saying that he will be leaving the Lakers this year, but the Lakers are also coming out and they're saying that they are willing to draft LeBron's son in order to have him come back. And it's just like, whoa, we're about to get into a real kind of circus show, aren't we, again in LA? We're going to have the whole parade shit, the whole grandest nonsense that happens with the Lakers free agents because we want to have so-and-so come to our team. They did it with Carmelo Anthony. They had the billboards. Pretty sure they did it with LaMarcus Aldridge. They make billboards. Kawhi Leonard, they make billboards. If they want you, it is a circus until they get you, and then basically a lot of the bullshit just happens. But let's talk about LeBron's tenure in LA. So it started in 2019 and is potentially ending this year in 2024. So over the course of those 6 years, LeBron missed the playoffs in his first year, won the championship with AD in 2020. They lost in the first round to Phoenix. They missed the playoffs in 2022. They were swept in last year's conference finals. Denver once again this year. And of course, the common question that I'm seeing is has this been a successful tenure for LeBron James? How would you rank this tenure for LeBron James? And just off the rip, man, I think you have to just say that you win a championship, bro, regardless of the circumstances that, you know what I'm saying, you want to kind of whatever reason you want to blame for them winning the championship. In 2020, there was a good chance they were going to win that championship whether the season stopped or did not. Like, they were a very, very dominant team over the course of that year. They were, you know what I'm saying, that I remember the hype about that season like it was yesterday. Like, you know what I'm saying, Giannis is having this MVP season. I think Jokic ends up winning it. There's the hype with the Clippers because they just got Kawhi and PG, and you're just like, who is it going to be? And at various times, this Lakers team, how they're kind of set up is kind of scary. Like, they had LeBron at the point guard. They were a super tall team. They had Anthony Davis. They had Dwight Howard. They had JaVale McGee. Rondo was also on the team. They still had Kuzma. They had KCP, who, if you know KCP, he's like, if you want a championship, you kind of need him on your team kind of guy. And like that, I feel like that team was the scariest Lakers team I probably have ever seen in my entire life, if I'm being completely honest with you, just in terms of like the talent that was on that 2020 team. And then like really every year after that, they made their team worse and worse up until the middle of last year. Like in 2021, when they retooled, I think they came back a worse team. Like, I know you might say there was the injuries to LeBron and AD, but I think that they come back, and I'm pretty sure they add Marcus Saul that off season, and they lose Dwight and they lose JaVale, I believe, and they're just not the same unit. You know what I'm saying? So they come back in 2021 and they lose to Phoenix in the first round, but there's injuries for that one, right? Then they really panicked after the injury season in 2021, and then this is where things really kind of turn into the circus, the nonsense that I don't like about the LA Lakers, because that's where they bring in Russell Westbrook, and everybody knows that year and a half was probably the worst year and a half of Lakers basketball, probably in the last decade or so. And you know what I'm saying, there were some tough years in between that stretch, but just like just like how they were talking about Russ, the things that were coming out of the media that Russ was saying back, the whole Russ brick situation. He's over here arguing with fans, fighting with fans. You're just like, damn, bro, this is how LeBron finna go out. Like, LeBron's about to go out on a team that's basically a laughing stock. Like, that Lakers team in 2022 and 2023 before the trade deadline, they were just a laughing stock. Like, they just did dumb stuff. They were just a goofball of a franchise. You know what I'm saying? And lucky for them, they're able to get out of that with Russ, and then they come with their current rendition of the team now, which I think probably was their best team since the 2020 season. And just ranking the LeBron tenure as a whole, if I were to give it a letter grade, I'd probably say it's a B plus. It's a B plus. The fact that you win a championship, even if you want to say A minus, I'll even say that you win a championship, that definitely holds weight. It was their 17th championship, tied them with Boston for the most in modern times, and like, or most, I guess, in all time. And you know what I'm saying, that's that. But I guess every other year surrounding that, you kind of just saw like LeBron wasn't in the East anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even in previous years, if LeBron was a little bit injured with the Cavs, like, he didn't have many like injuries where he would miss extended periods of time. But even as you saw that when he came back, he was able to still kind of, you know what I'm saying, work around it in order to until he was eventually healthy and they were able to win. He wasn't able to do that with LA. Like, if he was not healthy, he ran into teams that were better than him. He ran into Phoenix. He ran into Denver. You know what I'm saying? Ran into Denver twice. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was very, very tough. Or they just missed the playoffs entirely. Like, when you think about the fact that he missed the playoffs twice and he has 2 first-round exits, one of them being and a sweep in the conference finals. I mean, like, listen, man, you can't really say that's successful. If you want to talk about how he made the Lakers be just, you know what I'm saying, still a household name and all that stuff and made them super, super relevant again, boom, you got to give him credit for that. But in terms of, like, Lakers' success as it's known, I don't think LeBron created a lot of that. I do not think LeBron created a lot of that. And honestly, this might be a hot take. I think that after next year, it'll be in LeBron's best interest just to retire. I think that the whole winning championships aspect of his career is over. There's not going to be much that he's able to, you know, really do with these young guns, especially with, you know, you got Jokic, you got Shea, you got Anthony Edwards. John Morant's supposed to be coming back next year. If Zion's coming back also next year. Victor Wembanyama is also good. With Victor Wembanyama is supposed to be getting an actual team sometime soon. So like LeBron, he's done everything that there is for him to do at this point in his career. Like I said, man, the whole winning championship aspect of his career, I believe, is over. It's time for him to just, like, you know, kind of ride off into the sunset, because I don't want LeBron to be a guy who is, you know what I'm saying, who's going to be, like I said in previous videos, I don't think he'll ever be a guy that's putting up bad numbers. You know what I'm saying? He'll never be a guy that's putting up 14, 4, and 3. Like, it's not who LeBron is. But, like, in terms of, like, we only know LeBron to be playing to win championships. You don't want to see him in his Washington Wizards Michael Jordan era, where he is just, you know, irrelevant, essentially. You know what I'm saying? His stats and his highlights are cool, but there's no real threat for him to actually be LeBron, like, as we once know him. So I think that for next year, he should go ahead and just retire. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I got for this one, man. Great series. You know what I'm saying? These playoffs have been fucking crazy. And yeah, man, make sure you guys leave a like. Make sure you guys leave a comment. Let me know who you guys think the Nuggets will win. Oh, my God. Let me know who you guys think will win the next series with the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. And let me know what you guys think LeBron will do in the future with his career. All right, guys. Peace and love, family. Holla at y'all. Deuces.